Are you guys ready to get back going?
Yeah, but before you
yes.
start on that, will you give us your email address so we can email you to request the CD?
Okay, watch this, okay? Here's how you can get to Brandon's email address from inside of Adilas. You go to any homepage, whichever one your homepage is, and you go to Manage Corp Info and Permissions, and you hit Go, and you say, oh, there it is right there. Okay.
Oh, okay.
We changed the word corp to world in our particular entity, but normally it would say Manage Corp Info and Permissions. And I would be happy to mail you a DVD of that particular thing. It's basic. It's very simple. Brandon at Adilas.biz. All data is live and searchable.biz. Okay, cool. We have had a great day. I have had fun every single day. All sorts of cool stuff, alrighty? We have about an hour left. What can we do to help you? I don't have an agenda. I'm not trying to be like, okay, we didn't cover payroll, and what about balance sheet items, and what about, like, what are your questions? Let's help you guys out as far as, like, what you'd like to see, or a review, or a refresher, or anything like that. Matter of fact, let's take 5 minutes and just review a little bit about what Roxanne did, okay? Shannon, can I start with you? This is Shannon Moore.
Yes.
Can you kind of mention something that Roxanne did that we kind of learned about or that was helpful, and just so we can kind of get that vibe kind of going back again?
Yeah, there was a section I missed of hers because we were inputting parts, which I was sad I missed because I feel like I could have benefited from it. I'm not even sure what it was at the end there. But
she was doing bulk verification and all the way out to bank reconciliation. Like we just lightly touched on it.
That's what I hadn't seen, but I can see that another time. Or maybe I haven't. Anyhow, I just thought it was great watching her flow and going through and talking about things that normally happen and how she does it and works through things. And it was just great to watch her go through. I think it's really fun watching different people's flow and style. And I loved how she talked about how she tracked things as well. I put notes everywhere. I put notes here, 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 and here. I log this here. I make it easy for myself in the end. And so
Thank you.
I thought it was really fantastic.
Thank you.
That's awesome. David, what did you think of Roxanne's demonstration that she was doing deposits and expenses? David does tons of expense receipts and deposits. Earlier today, we jumped into a company and showed all of his expenses. There was thousands and thousands, and each one had all sorts of like photos and information that he did. He does the same thing inside of Adilas, and he just, you guys want to see what David does for expense receipts and deposits, just for fun?
Yep, I do.
Watch this. Okay, I'm going to actually take you literally into Adilas, and we're going to go to the expense receipt homepage, and I'm going to filter it just by David Birkencotter, okay? So here's some brand new ones that we have going on. Oh, wow, look, I got $1,000 coming to me. Yeehaw! So look at, here's all of these different little pieces of some of the notes. I want to go like this. Who created this? Let's put David Birkencotter in here, okay? Go search it. And this is just the last 30 days. David has entered $9,000 worth of expense receipts in the last 30 days. And look at all this documentation that he's doing, just to the T. Matter of fact, this one right here actually is a bank statement. I can tell, if I go to it right here, look at this. David actually put an entire bank statement in there and documented it, okay? We match this thing up to the T, okay?
Even though there's no fee there, the reason why I put that in so we can have a scanned record of the bank statement. So we don't have to look for it ever.
So we have literally, I'm not going to go in there just because I don't want to kind of divulge any information, but he put it under a vendor for a zero amount, and then he virtually documented the whole thing according to a date. So on 6/30, this is the June bank statement right here.
It's your paperless office.
Oh man, we do
you don't have a
paperless.
file cabinet then. Well, you do, but you don't have to go through it.
You know what? Our paperless office is a piece of cake. It's like, whoop, you know, whatever. Here's one for David right here that he did. We would look at this. Oh, look at this. We paid David a whole bunch of reimbursements. Okay, check this out. We rolled it through. We paid $3,000 to David. Here's his little check that we finally got. Whoop. Click that off right there. Watch this. If I hit subs, watch what we actually paid for from David, okay? So here's the top one, the new one, this 3709. Look at what we paid David for. Gas, meeting clients, so some food, some oil, like, here's what we just paid off David. This takes the reimbursement little demo. Like, this is thousands of dollars. We basically said, imagine what the size of that car carrier does. Like, I just want you guys to know we use this stuff incredibly as far as that goes. Watch this. David does tons of deposits, okay? I'm just going to show you the deposits David does. I'm not going to show you all of Adilas deposits, but watch this. I'm kind of bragging on him for a second here. So he was sitting here watching this demo. I'm now in the deposit advanced search, and I'm going to say I want just David Birkencotter. Okay. Should we get everything that David's ever deposited in Adilas? Or should we limit it by a certain date range? Should we say, David, what have you done? Let's go get it all. Okay, David has deposited $73,000. Just David doing some, oh, looks like even today, 7/18, looks like David did two little ones. This looks like one.
Working.
He's keeping up on his bank account.
He's keeping all of his stuff going on, or what's going, but like, it's awesome. I'll bet you anything if we actually go to this one, see this 10157, I'll bet you there's a credit card fee assigned to that. Go edit. Okay, so here's Eden's moving service, and another one, so one for 57, one for 47, and right here, he basically said, oh, by the way, we had to reverse out a little bit of money for a credit card fee. David does this stuff all the time, like he is a master. I wanted to show you that we use Adilas every day to the T, as far out as we could possibly push it, so that's what actually helps us be like, oh, that would be a good idea because we ran into that same problem, or whatever it might be. So we use it literally constantly. So
can I talk about one thing really quick?
Absolutely,
One thing
please.
I really like too about, because I have a lot of clients that work with cash drawers as well as their bank accounts and whatnot. Some of them even just cash drawers because of licensing and laws and things, you know, but you can actually take, say you have all these cash sales that are constantly getting in there, the invoices, and then you have your deposits and you're creating all these deposits. Well, what if you need to, because business owners and people do this all the time, they'll grab $100 out of their deposit for the day because they want to give it to Joe because he delivered something or did something, right? What you do is you just take the money out of your deposit and then you create an expense receipt from that invoice to that expense. Do you know what I'm saying? You like take money out of your actual deposit from an invoice because it was cash and you create an expense receipt. Take it out of your deposit, and now you have accounting for what happened to that money that you know you made today from the sale. Well, 100 of it was spent on this to pay him cash to do that service. Like, it's detailed. You connect, you have purchase orders, and you have expense receipts. Say you're over there plugging away, and you know maybe your bookkeeper is doing expenses, and nobody cuts checks. You know, just one person. So sometimes you have POs and things happening, and they're never tied up. Well, you could go back later and actually link a PO and expense receipt by just plugging a number in one of them. You could tie them together. Like, all these little quick tools and things are just like, I love them. All that little quirky stuff. I
promise we're not paying her for it.
No.
No. You know what? Roxanne is awesome. Like, at one point, this is kind of a funny story about Roxanne, but she was working with these different companies, and each company was just giving her a login in between. She's like, oh my goodness, I can't keep track of all these things. And so she's like,
too fast.
hey, is there any way that one login can be bridged to these multiple worlds? Kind of like that little graphic that we were talking about. And we're like, yep, if you get me written permission, I'll bridge you to any world you want to be bridged to. I had to get written permission so that we could actually create those bridges versus just an internal user to that world. So anyway, kind of fun. Joe, real quick, as we're kind of going around the room, let's hear what you had to say kind of about Roxanne's demo.
Well, one thing, Roxanne, that you brought up, and I think it's a good way for businesses to think about things, is that you kind of always start from the payables page. It's like, all right, we got to take care of our business on that end. You don't want to get in trouble with late fees and all that. So I think that's really, I think that's a very strategic and smart way to start, because you know you're going to have money come in the door, but if you're aware of your payables at all times and you just go to that payables main page, then you know where you stand. I mean, that's where I sometimes wish my home finances would start that way, because sometimes we just get lost in our day-to-day. And I'm sure businesses do too. I know
Oh,
they do.
yeah.
It's valuable.
The cool thing is if you're playing the game and you're doing your operations, your day-to-day stuff, automatically we're tracking probably 75 or 85% of your accounting is automatically tracked. And what it is once again, it's objects and data over time, and which state or status are we advancing them to, okay? We can automate that stuff because we know if we have a PO and it's worth $5,000 and it has 0 payments, it's going to show up in payables, okay? So we automatically are able to map things knowing on which state or status the things are at. So that's where it kind of gets kind of fun that way. Awesome. Great comment. Dan?
Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's Eddie said. It's just a real good presentation, and just flowed real well. So I learned a lot. I wish, and I'm not going to say I wish, I'm going to contact you more and probably hire you just for some personal stuff, just to get me. I know when I set myself up, I think it's probably really important to get set up right from the start.
Yeah.
Then you're not going back and trying to fix all this stuff. So.
And then you get your system and I'll cater to your needs, because people do things different ways, and so does Adilas. That's the good part. So thank you.
Yeah, great.
Appreciate that.
Good.
Awesome. Debbie, did you have anything else that you wanted to comment?
Yeah, just I have appreciated you being here all 3 days, because you I feel like you kind of kept an eye on me, because knowing that I'm starting to do the bookkeeping with Kathy and just the side comments and stuff. This is the notes, that this is what I do. So I even told Kathy, I was like, this Roxanne, she's really cool. And so just thanks for everything.
You're welcome. Just call me anytime. I mean, if it's like I said, if I don't know the answer, I'll find it out. That's where I call Steve. I'm like, Steve, or text him, Steve, I know you're busy, because he's like 50,000 times more busier than me, and he always makes time. So I don't ever go, and I'm giving away my secrets, but we're all friends. But I don't ever go to a client and act like I don't know, because that's the worst feeling when you're in there and you really don't know. And I'll just figure a way to be like, okay, well, you know what, right now, let's just work on what we're working on. And then next time we'll work on this, this, and this. And then there I go to Steve, and I'm like, okay, I need help with this, this, and this. And then by the time I go back, I'm just like, okay, and I know it, So that's my secret. But hey, you guys will probably do the same thing.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Because I do not know everything.
That is awesome. Shannon, do we have any comments from online or anything? Or are we good to go?
No, we're good to go.